Beginning Monday during the day, and then throughout the night, Hamas and Islamic Jihad fired barrages of rockets into Israel. On Tuesday, they hit two buildings in the Israeli coastal town of Ashkelon, wounding some 30 Israelis, and later hit this home in Ashdod. On Monday afternoon, sirens wailed in the city of Jerusalem for the first time since 2014. These Israelis had gathered on Jerusalem Day to march into the city, celebrating the reunification of Jerusalem in 1967. Police also evacuated the Western Wall during the sirens. Several rockets did hit communities on the outskirts of Jerusalem, damaging homes. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warned Hamas and other Islamic groups.
This evening on Jerusalem Day, the terrorist organizations in Gaza have crossed the red line and attacked us with missiles in the outskirts of Jerusalem. Israel will respond with great force. We will not tolerate attacks on our territory or our capital, on our citizens or our soldiers.
Netanyahu also warned Israelis the current conflict could go on for some time. The Israel Defense Force responded with airstrikes at Hamas targets inside the Gaza Strip to stop the rocket fire. Hamas said 24 were killed, including a number of children. The IDF says some of those who died were caused by stray rockets fired by Hamas. Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas's Fatah Party called for more demonstrations in Jerusalem with this video. This is Jerusalem calling to its residents. And Jerusalem, we will redeem it with our lives. We will sacrifice for the sake of the Al-Aqsa Mosque until the last breath. We will turn the world upside down for the sake of this homeland. Former UN Ambassador for Israel Danny Danon told CBN News Abbas has been behind the riots of the past few weeks.
We have to understand that it is not a spontaneous riot. It is orchestrated by President Abbas from the beginning. He decided to cancel the elections in the Palestinian Authority, and he knew that there would be a lot of criticism about that. And immediately, he put the focus on Jerusalem. They are using the holy site of Jerusalem in order to incite riots and violence.
The riots for the last 2 weeks and the rockets of the last several days come during the Muslim holy month of Ramadan, when there are increased calls for martyrdom, jihad, and holy war. Hopes were high that the situation would calm down with the end of Ramadan on Wednesday. Now it looks like Israel could be preparing for war.
Another story unfolding late today, the worsening escalation in the Middle East. The 13-story apartment building coming down in Gaza, and in Israel, in Tel Aviv, people running in the streets amid the sirens. It's the worst violence between Hamas and Israel we've seen in years. This was the scene in Gaza, that apartment building targeted and destroyed reportedly after the residents there had been warned to get out. Mourners carrying the body of an 11-year-old Palestinian boy through the streets. In Israel, those air raid sirens in neighborhoods in Tel Aviv, people sent running for cover. The death toll mounting on both sides tonight, and Israel warning that this is only the beginning. ABC's Matt Gutman now on the ground in Tel Aviv for us.
Tonight, that image. Israeli missiles leveling an apartment building in Gaza, smoke soaring skyward. Sources telling ABC News the building had been evacuated, a drone surveying the scene to make sure people were out. Israel launching 500 airstrikes on what it said were Hamas and Islamic Jihad military targets. The Gaza Health Ministry reporting 32 dead, including 10 children. 150 wounded, and the body of an 11-year-old carried through the streets during his funeral. Violence between Israel and the Palestinians escalating to its highest point in years. And just hours ago, swarms of Hamas rockets streaming into central Israel, lighting up the night sky. Sirens in Tel Aviv sending residents racing for cover, the Israeli Foreign Ministry tweeting this video. Hamas launching more than 500 rockets, most intercepted by Israel's Iron Dome defense system, but not all. In Ashkelon, near the Gaza border, rockets ripping open buildings. 3 Israeli women killed in central Israel, 19 people wounded. In Washington, a State Department spokesman saying Secretary Tony Blinken has spoken to leaders on both sides.
Israel has the right to defend itself and to respond to rocket attacks. The Palestinian people also have the right to safety and security, just as Israelis do.
But tonight, the Israeli defense minister saying this is only the beginning.
Matt Gutman is on the ground in Tel Aviv tonight. And Matt, give us a sense of what it's like there on the ground. We haven't seen violence like this there since 2014.
We haven't, David, and Israel tonight is on war footing. The military saying it's called up thousands of reservists, and for a time, the Israelis' main airport shut down incoming air traffic. And really, this is the first time in a generation that we have seen violence in so many places, not just in Gaza and in Jerusalem, but in mixed Jewish Arab towns inside Israel proper. David.